In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to change out a massive 78-inch blind system with two 39-inch Levolor blind systems. So stay tuned. As always, I'll have timestamps in the video description below if you want to go ahead and jump to a certain part of the process that you might be curious in. But before you do that, I will ask for subscriptions, likes, and comments like all good YouTubers do, right? We can reach 25 likes and 5 comments on this video. That would be great. I feel like that would really help the YouTube algorithm. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you go ahead and do so. Only 0.7% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, which is insane. So if you want to be part of the 1%, you don't have to make a bunch of money. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel. Some of you might be wondering, why would I install two 39-inch blind systems instead of just installing one 78-inch blind system back to replace the one I'm taking out? And if you watched this channel for a very long time, you might have already deduced the reason why I'm doing this, which is money, right? I'm trying to save money. So if you were to go online and look at these Levolor blinds that I'm installing, they're approximately $75 a blind. So you're looking at two of those costing around $150. If you were to go on and look for a 78-inch blind system, what you would see is around 72 inches. You start to enter what's called the custom blind territory, right? So when you go with anything custom, at least in my mind, the first thing that pops up is that's going to cost more and it's going to take longer to get. And if you were to go online and look up a 78-inch Levolor blind, what you're going to see is those would run for about $241. That's if they're on sale at 25% off, right? So even at 25% off, you're looking at almost a $100 savings by going with the two individual blind systems instead of going with the one large custom blind system. So these are the blinds that we're going to be replacing for this project. These are approximately 78 inches wide by 58 inches tall. I'll show you how to actually take some measurements for your new blinds a little bit later in the video as well. All I'm going to show you here is I'm going to show you how to detach this decorative trim. Just simple hand movement at one of the connection points should take that right off. Here I'm actually trying to undo the clips that hold the blind system to the wall. I'm going to use my knife to go ahead and slightly score the paint. If you're in an older home, you might need to do this if the blinds have been installed for some time, because if you do not score the paint, it can actually tear the paint as you're going to open the blind. So I'm just going around and I'm scoring the paint gently, and then I'm going to take a screwdriver and just use that to pry that open. So as I'm opening this, you can see that it's not tearing the paint or anything like that, so that's a good sign. And then from here we should be able to go ahead and do the other side as well, just to show you as a point of reference. We're going to score that paint as well, pop that open with a screwdriver, and I do want to quickly tell you I will not be showing you in detail the work to install both of these blinds because it's the same process and I actually care about your time. What you can see here though is that this existing blind, it didn't open. When you pulled the cord, it was just totally broken, right? So after you've gone ahead and undone both sides, we're just going to go ahead and gently lower that blind out. The sun, I hate the sun sometimes, it's so bright. You can see the back of my neighbor's houses there. But then we're just going to take a drill, we're going to back out the screws. Some of the screws you might be able to get to with the drill, some you might actually need a flathead or Phillips head screwdriver to back out. It really just depends on the screws that you're dealing with for your particular application. From there, as we're going to remove this bracket, we are going to score the paint again. Of course, you could use a box cutter or you can use like a heavy-duty army knife like I'm using here, just because that's what I had handy. But you're just going to take a knife and gently score that paint, and be very careful as you're taking that bracket off the wall, the existing bracket, because you really don't want it to pull away any paint with it. And once again, this is more of an issue if you're in an older home where the blinds have been installed for some time and maybe those brackets have been painted over a little bit. You just want to be careful because you don't want to give yourself more things that you need to fix. And you can see here that this is just that space without the bracket. We're going to go ahead and remove that middle bracket as well. That was the middle support for the blind system. You can see I'm just using my drill to gently back out those screws. Shouldn't be a problem to take this off. We are going to gently score the paint as well after we get these screws all the way backed out, using a screwdriver for the ones that the drill can't actually get into the place of. So once we've done that and once we've scored the paint, this bracket should come right off. I usually throw some serious shade at instruction manuals, but these Levolor instructions are actually fairly good, so I'm not going to be throwing a lot of shade at these today. But I am going to go ahead and measure this opening now that I've taken my blind out. And of course you can do this before you actually remove your blind, so you can have your blinds ready to go as soon as you've taken it down, glaring at the camera. But all I'm doing is I'm taking my tape measure, I'm getting my width as well as my height. Now what's important to note here is we are installing an inside mount blind, or I'm installing it like an inside mount blind. So I'm just going to be taking measurements from the edge to edge of both parts of the encasing, both left to right as well as up to down. Okay, so I'm putting my new blinds up there just to check to make sure they're going to fall on the right spot. I'm consulting the manual. And I'm also going to go ahead and install the first of the brackets. Now you can see here that I'm testing how the bracket opens, because one of the problems I ran into in the past is if you install that bracket too far into the back, it won't actually open up enough to be able to get the blinds in. So I'm just going ahead, I'm marking it, and I'm making sure that I can actually open that front hinge. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pre-drill my holes. As you know, I'm a big believer in pre-drilling because it saves you a lot of time and heartache. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get those holes pre-drilled for this application. Then after that, I'm just going to go back in with my screws and go ahead and get these brackets mounted. You can obviously mount these brackets to the top of the window casing or the side. You just want to make sure that you're hitting a stud, and you should be able to do that. From here, we're just going to go ahead and install the middle support bracket. I will tell you in a little bit about an error I made when I was doing this, but the process for installing this bracket is the same, whether or not you do it incorrectly like me or you do it right the first time. So all I'm doing is I'm checking where that bracket is going to go. I'm making some marks. I'm pre-drilling my holes, of course. I love pre-drilling. And then I'm going to go back in with my screws and actually go ahead and attach that bracket up to the top of the windowsill. When you're going to install your blinds, you want to make sure that that part that I'm pointing to right there actually is on the front. That's where you're going to connect the rod that goes to turn the blinds. So just make sure that you have access to that so you don't run into any problems there. This is where I realized that I had a problem. So when I was installing this middle support bracket, I did not think about the cords that go through the middle of the blinds. And when I was going to install the blinds, it was actually in conflict with that metal bracket. So I ended up having to go in and actually move that bracket over so that it would not be in conflict. You can see here I'm kind of marking where I moved it to, just so it would not be in conflict with that part right there. The string that goes through the middle. So I'm just simply moving my bracket over, and you'll see from this video that I actually, with the adjusted bracket position, everything matched up fine and it slid right in. Now that I have that left side bracket as well as the middle bracket installed, I'm going to go ahead and install the right side bracket as well. Just simply pre-drilling my holes and driving screws in just like I did for that bracket on the left side. Of course, in this case, I am actually attaching the screws to the stud in the top of the windowsill. You can see my neighbor's lovely backyard. A bird just flew by. You know, nature is happening, and it's fun to watch, right? So once again, we're just installing this bracket, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Here I'm just doing a quick fit up check to make sure the blind will slide in and we won't have any conflicts, that the brackets are in the right spot. But I will show you one of the issues I ran into a little bit later when it comes to actually closing the brackets and locking them in. So here I'm installing the rod that you use. All you do is simply push it into that slot. It clicks in and you're able to adjust your blinds perfectly. I'm actually just doing a quick little speed run of me installing this second set of blinds just to show you that I actually did it, you know, and I did it the same way. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. But these Levolor blinds really are fairly straightforward to install. I don't actually know how many I've installed. I would say it's above 10, right? So all the plans are very similar. But you can see here that these blinds are out of alignment over here to the left of the image. So I'll show you how to fix that as well. Actually coming up here, what you'll see is this one blade, just for example, is out of alignment. There's little notches in the blade, so all I'm going to do is give them a little tug to get them in line with the string that controls them, and they're good to go. Here what I'm doing is I'm installing the end caps that give more of a finished look. There's actually a small bracket that comes with the blinds that you can use to actually pin the blinds in place so they can't move. I'm not going to install that bracket because I have like a marble seal and I don't want to have to drill through that. Here what I'm doing is I'm just making sure those brackets are closed. I'm banging on them with a set of pliers. On this side though, I'm actually taking the pliers and bending that tab some to make sure that it will actually lock shut when we're going to close it, because when I was trying to close it, it would just slip off. So all I had to do was bend that a little bit with those pliers, and then it actually holds everything in place. So here I'm actually assembling the decorative trim. It comes in two pieces and it slides together like I'm showing you. The instructions will show you if you need another example on how to assemble them, but you basically slide both trim pieces together and then you attach the clips onto that, and then once you have that done, all you have to do is slide the clips onto that assembly for the blind and it fits right on. Here I'm installing the end caps. You can see those just push right in, and I say that relatively because it took me a little while to get all four in, but I did it. I got it done. It just took a little bit of force. So here you can see the finished product. These are the blinds. So that's the video. I hope that it's been informative to you. Maybe you've learned something. If you have, go ahead and drop that in the comments. And if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and drop those in the comments as well. As always, if you like the video, if I can beg you for a like, just go ahead and hit that like button as well. That thumbs up means so much to not only myself, but the YouTube algorithm and probably Mark Zuckerberg somewhere cares about it too. But all that to say, hopefully you've learned a little bit more about how to install a Levolor blind system. It's really very straightforward and easy, and I hope to see you in the next video.